everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about something that can make or break your project, the project charter. If you're managing projects, whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, this video is for you. By the end, you'll know exactly how to create a project charter, why it's essential, and how it sets you up for success. So why is this so important? Think of a project without a charter as launching a product without knowing what it does or who it's for. Sounds risky, right? Well, it happens more often than you'd think. Let's break down why the project charter is a critical step, what it involves, and how you can master it. The project charter is the formal authorization of your project. It's a document that defines the objectives, scope, key stakeholders, and gives the project manager authority. Think of it as your project's birth certificate. Without it, you're managing a project without a clear identity. And trust me, that can lead to a lot of chaos. Let me give you a real-world example. Remember Boeing's 787 Dreamliner project? It faced massive delays and went over budget by nearly $12 billion. One of the key reasons was that the project didn't have a well-defined charter early on. The scope kept shifting, timelines were unclear, and the objectives got muddied. Compare that to NASA's Curiosity rover mission, which had a crystal-clear charter. The mission objectives, like gathering soil samples and studying Mars's geology, were laid out from the start, contributing to the project's success. So, why exactly do you need a project charter at the very beginning? Well, it does a few key things. First, it provides clarity. Everyone, your team, stakeholders, sponsors, knows exactly what the project is aiming to achieve. Second, it aligns the team. Everyone understands their roles and responsibilities from the start. Third, it gives you the authority as the project manager to make decisions. Without a charter, you're essentially managing without formal backing. Let's look at a concrete example. In 1999, Denver International Airport tried to launch an automated baggage handling system. The project started without a clear project charter, and the result was chaos. Roles were unclear, the project ran over budget by almost $560 million, and it was delayed by 16 months. In contrast, take the construction of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the tallest building in the world. This project had a clear charter that laid out every detail, from the engineering challenges to the ambitious timeline, helping it stay on track. All right, now that we understand why the project charter is essential, let's dive into its key components. These aren't just formalities, they're the backbone of any successful project. Project purpose or justification. This is the why behind your project. Why are you doing it? What problem are you solving? You need to make this compelling because this is what stakeholders will look at to understand the value of the project. A good justification can make or break your project. Let's use Amazon Web Services, or AWS, as an example. When Amazon first started AWS, the project charter probably focused on their internal need for better infrastructure to support their growing e-commerce business. But more importantly, it also identified a gap in the market. Other businesses needed the same infrastructure solution. That strong justification helped AWS become the multi-billion-dollar business it is today. Objectives and success criteria. These are your measurable goals. What do you want to achieve? How will you know when you've succeeded? The key here is to set SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Tesla's Model 3 project is a great example. One of their key objectives was to deliver an affordable electric vehicle at scale. The success criteria? Producing 500,000 cars annually by a set date. This clarity allowed Tesla's team to focus on scaling production efficiently, which played a huge role in their success. Make sure these objectives are agreed upon by all stakeholders. Clear, measurable goals keep everyone aligned and reduce the chances of miscommunication down the road. The scope statement. This part of the charter defines what's included and what's not. This is key to managing expectations and avoiding scope creep, which is when your project starts expanding beyond its original goals without proper approval. Boeing's 787 Dreamliner project faced scope creep, leading to massive delays and cost overruns. Stakeholders kept adding new features and requirements, which was one of the reasons the project spiraled out of control. A well-defined scope statement up front could have helped avoid some of these issues. The stakeholders. Involve key stakeholders when defining the scope. It's much easier to discuss and agree on expectations early than to handle surprises later. High-level timeline and milestones. This is a rough outline of when major deliverables are expected. You don't need every single task mapped out just yet, but stakeholders should have an idea of when key milestones will be achieved. When SpaceX was developing the Falcon 9 rocket, they likely had key milestones like first stage engine design complete by X date and first launch by Y date. These timelines kept the project moving and gave stakeholders a clear view of progress. The budget overview. You won't have the final budget at this stage, but you should include a rough estimate. This helps manage financial expectations from the start. Take London's Crossrail project, for example. The initial budget was set at £15 billion, and although there were some overruns, having a detailed budget outline early on helped stakeholders allocate resources more effectively. Here's a fun fact for you. Do you know 70% of projects that exceed their budget by 10% or more fail to deliver their expected outcomes? A well-managed budget early on can avoid this trap. Lastly, stakeholders and their roles and responsibilities. The project charter should clearly define who's involved and what their roles are. This avoids confusion later on and ensures everyone knows who to go to when issues arise. Take Microsoft's Windows 95 project. One of the reasons it was such a success was that roles and responsibilities were clearly outlined. There was no confusion about who was responsible for development, marketing, or testing. Everyone was on the same page from the beginning. Hold a formal project kickoff meeting where roles are communicated. This sets the tone for the entire project and prevents miscommunication down the line. Now, how do you actually gather the information you need for your project charter? Here are a few practical tips to make it easier. Engage stakeholders early. Whether through interviews, workshops, or surveys, make sure to get input from all key stakeholders early on. This ensures you get a well-rounded view of the project's goals and objectives. It also builds buy-in from the beginning. Netflix's global expansion is a good example of engaging stakeholders. They gathered input from different regional teams to understand the specific needs of each market. This helped them successfully launch in countries with different languages, cultures, and regulatory requirements. Conduct a SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Conducting this analysis helps you better understand the internal and external factors that could impact the project. Before Apple launched the Apple Watch, they likely did a SWOT analysis to understand the opportunities in the wearables market and the threats from competitors like Fitbit. This type of analysis is invaluable when justifying the project and anticipating potential risks. Use pre-existing resources. Many organizations already have templates or guidelines for project charters. Use them. Don't reinvent the wheel. Not only does this save time, but it also ensures that you're aligning with organizational standards. Once your project charter is ready, it's time to get formal approval from the project sponsor. This step is crucial because it gives you the official go-ahead to proceed with the project. Without this, your project might never get off the ground. Take the launch of the original iPhone. Steve Jobs had to personally sign off on the project before engineering and marketing teams could move forward. This formal sign-off gave the team the authority and the resources they needed to execute their vision successfully. Document the approval process. Having a record of the sign-off will be invaluable if there are any disputes or questions later in the project. And that's it for today's video. By creating a project charter, you're setting your project up for success from the very beginning. It's like trying to build a skyscraper. You wouldn't start without blueprints, right? The project charter is your blueprint, giving you direction, clarity, and authority throughout the project. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button, share it with others who might benefit, and of course, subscribe to the channel for more project management tips and insights. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.